Okay, let's do some operations with complex numbers. So here I've got a complex number 8 plus 7i, and I'm subtracting negative 2 plus 3i. Okay, with subtraction, what we can do is just think of that like a negative 1 that we're going to distribute. So we'd get 8 plus 7i, and then negative times negative gives us a positive 2. Negative times 3i gives us negative 3i. And then just add like terms. Add up our real numbers, so I would get 10, and add up our i's. 7 minus 3 gives me 4i, and that's done. Okay, now when we're multiplying complex numbers, we just need to distribute the 4 to both and distribute the negative 5i to both. Okay, so here we go. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 2i is positive 8i. Negative 5i times 3 is negative 15i. And negative 5i times 2i is a negative 10i squared. And then just remember that definition of I squared is negative 1. So we'd have negative 10 times negative 1. Okay, so now I'm going to combine my imaginary numbers here. 8 minus 15 is negative 7i. And then negative 10 times negative 1 is positive 10. And then I just combine 12 plus 10 is 22 minus 7i. And that is done. Okay, great. Now with division of complex numbers, we need to use the conjugate, okay? And so the conjugate of the denominator. All right, so here we go. We're going to use the conjugate of the denominator would be 2 minus 6i. And then what we do to the denominator, we also need to do the numerator, so I need to also multiply 2 minus 6i up there as well. All right, now we've got quite a bit of distributing that we need to do. Let's go ahead and get started. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4. Negative 2 times negative 6i would be a positive 12i. And then I have 7i times 2 would give me 14i. And then 7i times negative 6i, 6 times 7 is 42, and then I times I is I squared. But again, that I squared is negative 1, right? So that would be negative 42 times negative 1. All right, now, here we go on the bottom. We've got 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times negative 6i would be negative 12i. And then I have 6i times 2 would be a positive 12i, and then 6i times negative 6i would be negative 36i squared. Now, the whole beauty of using that conjugate, because the signs are different, that means that our middle terms here have different signs, and 12i minus a negative 12i plus 12i, that just adds up to 0 in the denominator. So down in the denominator, I have 4 minus 36 times I squared, but I squared is negative 1, so it would be negative times negative is a positive 36. And our goal is to have no imaginary numbers in the denominator. And so that is terrific. Down there I just have a 40. Let's look at our numerator. We have negative 4. I'm going to combine my imaginary numbers, so I would have 12i plus 14 would be 28i, and then negative 42 times negative 1 would be positive 42. And then that would simplify. I would to, let's see, negative 4 plus 42, that would be 38 plus 28i. And now we need to write that in standard form, and it needs to be simplified. So I'm going to rewrite that as 38 over 40 plus 28i over 40. And now I just need to simplify my numbers. Let's see, both 38 and 40 are even, so I'm just going to divide both by 2, and I get 17/20. And then both 28 and 40 are divisible by 4. 28 divided by 4 is 7. And 4 divided by 4 is 10. So that would be my final answer for that one. And that's done.